The season is starting. The season is starting. Yes, on Monday, the regular season will be starting, and while the availability reports aren't out yet, we did some snooping to see who's had injuries, tweaks, and sat out an exhibition game that might potentially impact Week 1. We will talk about what's being reported in these internet streets and hear from some coaches to maybe gauge when some of these players will be back fully. Some of these you're aware of, others not so much. Welcome to Davis Sports Report. Go ahead and do us a favor and hit that like button while we get into it. And hit the subscribe to help us reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We're going to start off with the Big Ten Conference. First up is UCLA. And we have Sienna Betts. On October 23rd, CBS reported that UCLA freshman Sienna Betts, the number 2 player of the class of 2025, was seen in a walking boot during Thursday's practice. Betts tweaked something on her left leg during a scrimmage against UC Riverside on October 19th. Let's hear from the coach.
We saw Sienna shoot, sitting down.
I know.
How has she approached her recovery process, and just what does it go to show about her sort of tenacity and passion?
I'll tell you, she's one of the most amazing learners I have coached in my 33 years. Her knowledge of the game, her ability to see things, then put it into practice. I think actually there's going to be a silver lining of this little return to play time for her, that she's going to be able to really focus on some work in her shooting pocket. It's really hard to fix in the middle of the season. She's going to get a lot of work with her right hand, and I just think sometimes your adversity like this can sometimes force you into skill development in a way that maybe you wouldn't have tacked the same way if you didn't have this time. So, and a lot of that just credit goes to Sienna. She's really a smart, her basketball IQ is off the charts. And so I'm excited to see what comes out of this time.
Is there a timeline for her?
No, we don't know yet. We're waiting on results. So from the tweak that she had in the scrimmage, and so we'll know more later.
Next up is Tamia Garden, also of UCLA. She was out specific practice sessions and is continuing to progress in her recovery from a knee injury. Next up is USC, and you've been living under a rock if you didn't hear about Juju Watkins. She suffered an ACL injury in March of 2025, and we fully expected that she wouldn't return this season. Let's hear from Coach Gottlieb.
The challenges and opportunities ahead. Lindsay Gottlieb, it is always great to see you, and I haven't seen you since the news about Juju came out, so let's obviously start there. How is she doing as a human being? How is she handling everything right now?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that. She is a human first. She's handling everything with the grace and strength with which she sort of approaches everything in her life. And I couldn't be more proud of her. She's really poured into our team this summer and fall. And, I think announcing that she's not going to play this year allows her to focus on the team, on her own rehab. She's at it multiple times a day. And I know that we'll all look back at some point and say, this moment in her life, which is hard in a lot of ways, is going to make her stronger. It's going to make her better. And so we just want to be there for her as much as she's there for us all the time.
Next up is Maryland, where we have 2 players. First up is Kayleen Smichael, who has been dealing with what's being called nagging injuries, and it sounds like she's not back to 100%. Let's hear from Coach Freese.
Yeah, well, I think we all know how talented Kayleen is, and just every time she's on the floor, just the competitiveness and the level of play that she's going to bring to the table with this team. She's been slowed a little bit with some nagging injuries, so we haven't had the full effect of KK yet. But we know when she is on the court what that's going to look like.
Then we have Bree McDaniels, and she is still recovering from a previous ACL, and she is working her way back into full recovery. Again, let's hear from Coach Freese.
You mentioned her. What's Bree McDaniel's timeline right now?
Really day to day. She had surgery late January, so typically ACLs full recovery is a year, and can be anywhere from 9 to 10 months to a year. But she's right now shooting and in drills, but nothing with contact. So you've just got to be able to really evaluate and be smart with her return to play.
Moving on to Minnesota, where there is Taylor Woodson, and Woodson suffered a season-ending injury in December of 2024. While there were still some questions in late October about her return status for the very start of the season, a knee injury suffered that late in the prior season makes it highly likely she misses early games as she continues to recover and conditioning. Next up is Nebraska, where they have two players that are out. First up is Allison Widener, and SportsIllustrated.com is reporting that Widener will likely redshirt this season as she continues to recover from her January 28th knee surgery, with plans to return next year. Also, Natalie Potts, and Potts was not participating with the team in early October. She tore her ACL in November of 2024, putting her about 10 months into rehab. She did not receive full clearance and was held out of the exhibition games, though she is expected to return to the court this season. Let's hear from Coach Williams on the health of the team, and she didn't give much detail on return estimates.
Where are y'all at health-wise heading into Monday?
Well, we're really excited to be welcoming back in a couple of players that had to miss out of our last exhibition game with kind of some minor injuries that we'll be glad to be welcoming, I think, 3 more pieces in for the next game that we did not have with us in the last one. So just very, very excited. Some key pieces going to be working back into things next week as well.
Who's the players that are back?
The 3 players that missed that should be rejoining practice would be Logan Nisley, Eliza Maupin, and Emily Fisher. So 2 of our new transfers and then 1 pretty key returner.
How about Natalie? What's her status in terms of where she's at?
Yeah, we're really excited. Natalie reached some good benchmarks last week, which are allowing us to progress her rehab to the next steps. And so, I just think she's just been working so hard, and I've just been so proud of the way she's been focused on that, but also just being diligent about making sure that we're taking care to prioritize her health first and foremost.
Now let's take a look at Illinois, where they had 2 returning players that had injuries. First up is Letty Vacanzuelas. She is a 6'7" center who suffered a season-ending ACL tear during summer workouts in 2024, putting her on the sidelines for the entire 24-25 season. Vacanzuelas played 17 games for the Baylor Bears the previous season in the 23-24 season. Then we have Gretchen Dolan, who was shut down in January of 2025 due to a knee injury that she attempted to play through. The Daily Illinois is reporting that Dolan will return to the hardwood for at least some of the 25-26 season. And to make things worse, there were 2 new injuries in October of 2025. First up is Manuela Alves, who is a freshman, and she will miss the upcoming 25-26 season after sustaining a torn ACL injury during the Illinois preseason workout. The Rio de Janeiro, Brazil native underwent surgery on Monday, October 27th. She played for IMG Academy, and she was a 4-star recruit who was the number 48th player in the class of 2025. In addition to that is Erica Finney, a 6-foot freshman from Australia who underwent bilateral knee procedures and will also miss the 25-26 season. Let's hear from Coach Shauna Green on the injuries.
It sucks for the kids, number one. You just hate to see it at any time with anyone, so you just feel for them. But as unfortunately we've dealt with some of this stuff, and it's part of the game, so for us it's always next woman up, and we have some depth in those positions, but obviously it's still going to hurt us not having both of those guys. We're looking for them to contribute, so it'll hurt us, but next woman up, and we keep rolling like we did last year.
Shauna, when you look at these injuries that have happened over the last, do you look at it as like these are just separate incidents of bad luck, or is there something you guys internally evaluate as to why these are happening?
I always look at it, anytime an injury happens, I'm like, is this something that, could have been avoided, or is this something, and I do look at each one, and I don't think they're connected, that we have to change something, right? Like, E had been dealing with some of this stuff, and an ACL, I think, as always, we've really only had two in my time here, with Letty being, she's already done that before, and then obviously Manuela. You look back, Gretchen's was kind of a pre-existing, even Jada, an Achilles, like that just, I don't know how you prevent that stuff. So I've gone through everything with Kylie, with Autumn, and looked at anything we can do. What can we, we're always trying to evaluate what can we do better? Do we need to tweak anything? We don't see any correlations, but something we're going to continue to evaluate.
Next up is Indiana, where they have Sydney Finn, and the Daily Hoosier is reporting that the redshirt freshman Sydney Finn, who missed all of last season with a knee injury, is slated to return to the hard court this season. Finn stated to the Hoosier Huddle that her goal for the season are to be able to help the team as much as possible. And having a year under her belt and learning everything that she did, she's able to help the new team members learn Coach Morin and how she likes things done. She continued with, "I am there for them in any way they need and get to be their biggest cheerleader." Then, according to the Tribune, Faith Wiseman, Valentina Kadlikova returned but haven't played very much, and 6'1" Lene Beaumont, who played some of the previous year, sat with her own knee injury during the exhibition game. I couldn't find any commentary on these players from Coach Terry Morin. And last for the Big Ten is Purdue, where they have Taylor Henderson. And due to an early October non-contact leg injury with no set timeline for return, Henderson was held out of the October 27th exhibition game. SI.com reports one of Purdue's 10 new faces will be sidelined for some time because of the injury. Next up is the Big East Conference. So do us a favor, go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't done so already. For the Big East Conference, we're only going to cover UConn, who will not be playing their first game in Germany due to the government shutdown. What a shame. First off, we have Jenna L. Alfie. She was out in the 23-24 season, but she did play last season. But in an update around mid-October before their first exhibition game this year, Coach Ariyama stated that he was still unsure of her status due to a calf injury, although he noted she was doing more and more in practice. Now, she did play 7 minutes in the exhibition game against Boston College, putting up 2 points and grabbing 4 rebounds, and she did 9 minutes against Southern Connecticut State, putting up 4 points. Also, there's Caroline Ducharme, who unfortunately has been riddled with injury over the past 3 years, and she is now returning, but probably starting out with limited minutes. In the exhibition game against Boston College, Ducharme played 10 minutes, putting up 2 points and grabbing 3 rebounds, and she also played 10 minutes in the exhibition game against Southern Connecticut State, putting up 2 points, and we are truly happy to see Caroline back on the court. Moving on to the SEC, we're going to start with Kentucky, who had a recent injury with Dominika Parova. On October 16th, Kentucky Athletics released a statement stating University of Kentucky women's basketball redshirt sophomore guard Dominika Parova tore her ACL and is out indefinitely. This was the second torn ACL in her right knee, hoping she gets better soon. Next up is South Carolina, who has 2 players out, starting off with Chloe Kitts, and this recently happened, where Chloe Kitts announced the season-ending injury on October 13th, and her surgery was scheduled for that week. She was seen on the sideline in a brace and on crutches during late October practices, confirming her absence from the exhibition schedule and the entire 2025-26 season. Also, there's Ashlyn Watkins, who suffered an ACL injury in the 24-25 season. She may be close to done with her rehab, but she did decide to take another year out and is planning to come back next year. Next up is Vanderbilt, and they have Madison Green that will be out. On September 1st, 2025, Coach Shea Ralph announced that guard Madison Green will miss the upcoming season due to an injury suffered during practice the previous week. Next up is Alabama, where they have 2 players. First up is Eris Lester, and Lester suffered a season-ending leg injury in practice in March of 2025, just ahead of the NCAA tournaments. Since this injury occurred late in the season, we expect that she is still in the recovery process. Also, freshman Tiana Chambers, who tore her ACL in her junior year of high school and is still on the path to getting back to 100%. And lastly, for the SEC is Tennessee. And while this one is not an injury, it is likely to impact the season, and that is Ruby Whitehorn. Ruby was charged with simple possession of marijuana, Mary Jane, pot, cannabis, whatever you want to call it, in the early mornings of October 30th. Being that this is her second arrest since August, I expect that we might not see her on the court right away as the university sorts out how to handle the situation. Moving on to the ACC conference, and we're going to start with Duke, where Emma Cabell will be out for the season. The university announced in August of 2025 that Cabell will miss the entire 2025-26 season as she suffered a knee injury while competing for Team Canada in the 2025 FIBA 3x3 in Chile during the summer. And the last conference we're going to cover is the Big 12, where we have TCU. And out for TCU is Aaliyah Roberson. On October 1st, 2025, TCU Athletics announced that Roberson will miss the entire 25-26 season to recover. Roberson was a top stretch forward who played a significant role in their relationship the previous season. As I stated at the top, the injury report has not come out yet, but each week we will be bringing you the AP Top 25, where we will include the availability report rundown, any undefeated teams once the season gets going, and games to watch for the next week. We hope you've already subscribed so you don't miss out. That's all we have for you on this one, but we will see you real soon on the next one. I am so excited. The season is starting. We are going to have so much fun over here. Great conversations in the comment section. So be back here real soon. We'll see you then. Goodbye.